tier list ranking of every single NBA team. So we got the finals, which is going to be my finals prediction. Contenders, which is teams I could see making it to the finals and potentially winning it. Western Conference Finals and Eastern Conference Finals. These are teams where I think they can go on a run. Like, I mean, this is a bad example. No, I got a better example. Like Indiana Pacers. They could go on a run, but they have no shot of making the finals. Will make the playoffs, as in they're a lock for the playoffs. Lucky to make the playoffs, like a borderline playing team that could win 2 games and slide in at the 8th or 7th seed, and then no shot, as in you're not making it. So right off the bat, we got the Atlanta Hawks. I got the standings right here. They're sitting at the 7th seed right now. Behind them are the Magic, Heat, Bulls, and I mean I think they're a lock. I don't think any of those teams are gonna jump above them. I mean, with Jalen Johnson out, you would think they would slide off a little bit, but the East is just so bad. But looking at the two teams below them, the Magic and Heat, it is tough. I feel like the Magic could go on a little run towards the end of the season, so I'm debating between will make playoffs and lucky to make playoffs. For now, I'm going to put them in will make playoffs. Next up, the Boston Celtics. As a Knicks fan, I hate to do it. Ask me in 3 months, I might have a different answer, but I'm putting them in the finals. I think they are a lock for the finals right now. I mean, they are looking. It's okay. There we go. I mean, I feel like they're a lock for the finals. This team is dominant, 1 through 5, best starting 5 in the league. I hate to say it as a Knicks fan, but also with that bench production with Peyton Pritchard, who plays like I like to call them all-star role players, as in he's basically the best role player in the league. I mean, no one in the East can really compete with them. My Knicks, I know it's trying not to be biased. They built the team to take down the Celtics. Like, how the Nuggets last year, they lost to the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves beat the team. They built the team to take down the Nuggets, adding Karl-Anthony Towns to stay on Jokic on the perimeter with Rudy Gobert and help. And then you have Anthony Edwards, who's a great two-way player. The Knicks have that tandem wing duo of McCall and OG Anunoby to guard the Jays. And then they have someone to space the floor with Porzingis. But right now, Tibbs has been overplaying his minutes a lot. Been overplaying his starters a lot. They're going to be fatigued just like last year. So right now, I think it's the Celtics to lose. Brooklyn Nets, no shot. What are they sitting at? They're sitting at 12th. They're not. They're tanking for Cooper Flag 100%. They need that top 5 pick. Charlotte Hornets are another team with no shot. It feels weird. It feels like the Hornets should be higher because they have the talent. Obviously, Brandon Miller has been out, but yeah, they got no shot. Chicago Bulls is an inch. It's not even. Let me drag this in. Hold up. This is annoying. Okay, Chicago Bulls, they're at the 10th seed right now. It's really just, they are the definition of the most average team in the NBA. I mean, the backcourt of Io, Kobe, and Josh Giddey is just messy because there's no clear direction who you want in the future. And then Patrick Williams, year after year, we are waiting for that jump, and we just haven't had it. And I mean, Nikola Vucevic is having one of his better seasons. He fell off significantly, but has looked better, so they'll be lucky to make the playoffs. I didn't really touch too much on the Nets and Hornets just because at this point in the season, there's not too much to talk about with those teams. The Cavaliers, I didn't even mention them talking about the Celtics rivals. It's just the Cavs, like throughout the season, I've been saying the Cavs are frauds. Like they're that 1-seed Jazz team from 2021 or that 1-seed Hawks team from 2015, but they're different because Darius Garland is playing at an all-star level, which he wasn't last year. I understand it's the same team, but you have Garland, who took a jump up. Mobley took a jump up to all-stardom, and he's a defensive player of the year candidate, probably going to win it all. Donovan Mitchell has proved time and time again he's a playoff performer. And Jared Allen, he didn't shine. The lights were too bright for him 2 seasons ago against the Knicks. But I think when you add a piece like DeAndre Hunter off the bench, it's looking really scary. They're like fringe the finals. I could see them potentially taking down the Celtics, but for now we're putting them in contenders. Because, I mean, just both sides of the floor, they are elite. And, you also have Max Strus, who's one of the best three-point shooters, and Ty Jerome taking a huge step up that no one saw. That's going to be a huge factor for them in the playoffs because we see time and time again with the Miami Heat, guys like Gabe Vincent, Max Strus stepping up in the playoffs when it matters, Caleb Martin. I feel like we can see that from this Cavaliers team. Dallas Mavericks, what are they sitting at right now? Did they fall out of the play-in yet? They're at 10. They'll be lucky to make it. If somehow Anthony Davis comes back in time, they can win. They can potentially make a play-in run, but I really don't see it. The Denver Nuggets, it's a tough one. Back and forth all season. Sometimes they look like they don't have enough. Jamal Murray starting off the season slow, but they got to be contenders because you have the best player in the league in Nikola Jokic. I mean, he's having one of the statistically best seasons of all time. And Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr., I don't know how I feel about them this season, but Jamal Murray finally took a step up. And Christian Brown, I mean, what a jump by him. He's been ridiculous this season. I mean, this is why I don't like the second apron in terms of teams like the Denver Nuggets. Obviously, with the KD Warriors team, it's good to prevent it in that way. But when you have a homegrown team and you draft all your players and you sign them on small contracts through free agency and through trades like the Denver Nuggets, that makes them lose players like Bruce Brown and like KCP because they can't afford them. If they had those two players, they would be in the finals for me. But the other thing is, you can't be giving Aaron Gordon, what is it, $35 million a year. So you have to. It's like a complicated situation because you shouldn't be giving Aaron Gordon that much money, but you should also be able to keep Bruce Brown and KCP. But those are one of the disadvantages of the second apron. Detroit Pistons. What are they sitting at? Fourth? They're sitting at 6. This may sound a little crazy, but I think they could go and run in the Eastern Conference Finals. We've seen it with the Pacers last year, like I said, and we saw it with the Atlanta Hawks in 2021. As of right now, the Pistons will play the Knicks in the first round. Brunson's out till early April. I mean, that's a tough matchup. As a Knicks fan, I would be worried about that. If they jump up to the 5th seed and they're playing the Bucks, that's something else to worry about as a Bucks for people who are Bucks fans. I mean, Cade Cunningham solidified top 5 guard in the league. The problem with the Pistons was they didn't have any shooters, and now you add Malik Beasley next to him, and look how much it changes. And I mean, I love Jalen Duren. I think this is a team that could get lucky and potentially win 2 playoff series. Now that I think about more with how tough the top of the East is, I might want to move them down to will make playoffs. But for now, just for the respect for going from 26 straight losses to being the 6th seed, we'll keep them there. Warriors are another tough one. They're sitting at 6 in the Western Conference, but I mean, this team right now, I would say, is better than that team that won the championship. Honestly, that might be a hot take, but you have Jimmy Butler, who hasn't been playing good, and we know Jimmy Butler in the playoffs will step up. And you have like these diamond in the rough players like Quinton Post, who's a 24-year-old rookie and has been playing great. And I mean, Kuminga has taken that jump. Obviously not the jump you like to see, but it's definitely good enough. And of course, Draymond and Steph Curry have that championship experience. So I would put the Warriors in Western Conference Finals right now. They're fringe contenders. I wouldn't be surprised if they went on a run and they were in the finals come June. But I think they definitely can make the Western Conference Finals at worst. Because, I mean, they're playing the Rockets in the first round as of today. And the Rockets are an inexperienced team. We saw that with the Memphis Grizzlies when they were the 2 seed and the Lakers were the 7 seed. Lakers upset them. Now the Houston Rockets. I hate to say it. I mean, if I put the Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals here, I feel like I should put the Rockets there. But there's something about this Rockets team that is too similar to that Grizzlies team, as in with the stacked West, there's just too many teams in there, just not experienced enough. I feel like I would have to put them in the will make playoffs. I mean, we see some very bright spots with this team. This Sengun is like a baby Jokic. Jalen Green is just a straight scorer. Amin Thompson and Tari Eason are a fantastic defensive, athletic duo. And you have the veteran leadership with Fred VanVleet, but I really don't see them beating a team like the Nuggets, Thunder, or Lakers in the second round. Now we have the Indiana Pacers, which is a team I already mentioned twice in this video just because of their run last year. I could see it happening again, honestly. You're playing the Bucks in the first round, beat them last year. Obviously, there was injuries with them, but we'll get to more on the Bucks later. And then you play the Cavs in the second round. I think if a team like the Pacers can get hot and everyone's on point, Benedict Mathurin, obviously Tyrese Halliburton needs to step up, Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith. If you see these guys healthy and stepping up, they 100% could make an Eastern Conference Finals. Now we have the Los Angeles Clippers. What are they sitting at? The 8th seed. Honestly, since the West play-in has fell off so hard, I think they're a lock for the playoffs, as in they'll be the 7th or 8th seed. It's just there's nothing really special going on there. Norman Powell can't be your best player in a playoff series. Kawhi Leonard. I say Norman Powell because we have no idea what Kawhi Leonard will look like come April. We don't know if he'll be healthy or not because it's just such a question mark throughout the past 5 seasons of his career. And then James Harden. I mean, what is in recent memory? He's had one good playoff game when he was on the Sixers against the Celtics when there was no Embiid. Los Angeles Lakers. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. I'm throwing them in the NBA Finals against the Celtics. I mean, I've gone back and forth with a lot of people. You can't just throw stars together and expect them to produce. But when those two stars are Luka Doncic and LeBron James, it doesn't matter. But it's not like they have no role players. I mean, last year, if you look at it, the Mavericks made those trades for PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford at the trade deadline. So Luka is fine adjusting to playing with new players. And I mean, Derek Lively on his own is not that good of a center as he is with Luka Doncic. So people are hating on Jackson Hayes being their center. I think Jackson Hayes can be a solid center on a championship team when you have Luka Doncic. Jackson Hayes and him just have to build that chemistry, and he can become that lob threat that Derek Lively was. And he's not that bad of a defender. And I mean, Austin Reeves is having the best season of his career statistically. And I think, there's not going to be a game where Luka and LeBron are both off. A game where one of them is off, let's say Bron's off. Austin Reeves can step up and give you 22 points. And then Dolan Connect is like an X factor for them where if he can pop off any game, that would be great. And we saw them against a team like the Nuggets, JJ Redick playing 2 days for them. What they did was you put DFS, you put Jared Vanderbilt on Jokic, and then play other people and help. It works. It's like what the Denver Nuggets did, what the Minnesota Timberwolves did last year. And I mean, Oklahoma City Thunder will definitely be a tough matchup. And I hate the people. I'm going to get to the Thunder later. I'm getting carried away. Memphis Grizzlies. I feel like I go Western Conference Finals. I'm loading up this tier, but the thing is, Memphis Grizzlies have by far the best development in the league. I mean, we've seen guys like Gigi Jackson, Scottie Pippen Jr. show that they can be contributing players on this team. Santi Aldama, the trolley problem, he's been great. Luke Kennard, one of the better three-point shooters in the league. Like, they have these role players who can step up on any given night. Not all of them are getting minutes, but when they do get minutes, they can contribute. And in the playoffs, if someone goes down, if Ja's missing a game, which we've seen before, if JJJ is missing a game, they have all those other players to step up. I mean, Jay Huff, we've seen get minutes. And Zach Edey, guy can't move, but he's a pretty good defender in the paint. And, of course, Jalen Wells has been phenomenal in his rookie season. Nobody expected that. And, of course, Jaren Jackson Jr. took that step offensively that we've been waiting for 7 seasons now. So Grizzlies can definitely go on a run. I mean, they would play the Lakers in the first round, which, like I said, they are contenders, but this is not the set playoffs. If they go up against the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round or the Houston Rockets, it's a different story. I definitely think they can be the team to go on a run. The Miami Heat, I want to say lucky to make it. Where are they sitting at? They're sitting at 9th, so they would play the Bulls. I feel like that. I mean, Tyler Hero has been to 2 NBA Finals and same with Bam Adebayo. I mean, those two as your best players should get you into the playoffs in a weak Eastern Conference. So definitely will make the playoffs. Milwaukee Bucks are a tough one. I've usually been a hater on the Bucks, not because I hate Giannis or because I hate Dame. I love them both. That's the exact reason why I'm going to put them in a contenders team, because I understand they don't have too much defense. They don't have much depth. But when you have a guy like Giannis and you have a guy like Dame healthy in the playoffs, it's very scary. And you have contributing factors. I mean, Kuzma was absolutely terrible in Washington. But if he's been a third option on a championship team. Last time he was the third option on the championship team, he won with the Los Angeles Lakers in 2020. And I mean, AJ Green is a pretty good perimeter player. He's a good 3-and-D guy. He can hit some threes and play defense on the other team's best point guard. So I think the Bucks in the Eastern Conference can definitely be contenders. Minnesota Timberwolves are a tough one because they just started off the season so shaky and they're sitting at the 7th seed. I think it could be a little too late for them. I mean, they're only 3 games behind. They're only 4 games behind the 2 seed. I mean, it's tough. I can put them in the Western Conference Finals. They just made it last year. Anthony Edwards is most certainly a bona fide superstar playoff riser. And I mean, Julius Randle has just been way too inconsistent. It's very hard to gauge where he will be in the playoffs. We saw him battle through injuries and not be successful in the playoffs before. So they're a little bit of a question mark. I might put them to will make playoffs. And now that I'm looking at this list, I'm moving Pistons down to will make playoffs. The New Orleans Pelicans, no shot. I mean, just an absolute mess all season long. New York Knicks, I mean, you have to say they're the contenders, especially in this Eastern Conference. You're going to have Brunson back hopefully by April. And I've spoke on them before. The defensive duo is one of the best in the league. And I mean, the rotation will be shorter. So if Thibodeau is able to rest his guys more the next couple months, I know it will be hard with Brunson out, but if he's able to rest his guys and get them ready for the playoffs, he can have that shorter rotation. And the Knicks, out of any team, is used to having that shorter rotation. I mean, by playoff time, you're going to have Deuce McBride, who's been playing starting minutes from now, March, all the way to April. He's going to have a lot of experience as a starter, which I think will grant him a lot of more success in the playoffs off the bench. And I think the Knicks can definitely be contenders because you have a top 8 player with Jalen Brunson, and Karl-Anthony Towns has been playing like a top 10 player this season. I almost want to throw the Thunder in the finals. It's hard not to. So this is my issue with the Thunder. I hate everyone who says, oh, the Thunder won't make the finals because they have no experience. At what point does the experience not matter? Because how many second round exits do you need, or how many conference finals appearances do you need? But here's the thing. When you're going up against LeBron James and Luka Doncic in the conference finals, that's when experience bites you in the butt, because the Oklahoma City Thunder, they have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who hasn't made a conference finals appearance yet. But let's say Shai has a bad game, because we can't. I'm Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been the best point guard in the game this season. You can't expect him to be spot on every single playoff game. So Jalen Williams, one of my favorite players, or Chet Holmgren, I don't think they can be a number one scoring option on a conference finals teams yet. I don't think they can be in Staples Center and say, Coach, I'll step up, I got this, and pop off for 30 and win them the game. I don't think they have that star power yet, like what the Lakers have with Luka and with LeBron. I wouldn't be surprised if the Thunder are in the finals. That's why I have them in the contenders tier. The Orlando Magic will make the playoffs. I think they definitely have enough with Banchero and Franz. I mean, they've just been so shaky throughout the season. Jalen Suggs was definitely a big loss. What they need is a playmaking point guard, because they just don't have that. Cole Anthony has had such a bad season based on his past couple of seasons. Sixers have no shot. What are they sitting at? They're outside the play-in, right? Yeah, they're 13th in the Eastern Conference. I mean, besides the Pelicans, they must have had the most injury-riddled. They've had the most injury-riddled season. I mean, Joel Embiid, as much as I hate him, he's an amazing player. I think the Sixers should keep him, because when he's healthy, he's one of the best players in the whole entire league. He's a top 3 player. It's just this season is such a mess. Phoenix Suns will be lucky to make it. You know, Devin Booker is one of my favorite players. And right now they're sitting at 11th in the Western Conference, 2 games back of the Dallas Mavericks. I think they can definitely jump in there. It's just a matter of fact if they can win a playoff game, because I think the Kings are a little bit deeper of a team than the Suns. I mean, outside of Book, Beal, Durant, Grayson Allen, there's no one really there for them. I mean, Ryan Dunn is a great defender, but he's not producing anything on offense. There's just a lot of inconsistencies with this team. Now, the Portland Trailblazers, man, this is a tough one because they've been on fire. I'm going to say lucky to make the playoffs, because they're still a young team. They're definitely doing better than what people expected. I mean, Denny Adia and Shaedon Sharpe are a great duo. I don't know which one is going to be the all-star on that team. It could be both of them. But right now they're still trying to figure out who their clear number one is and what direction they're going in and who they should build around, because there's also Scoot, who just popped off against the Knicks the other night off the bench, and Anthony Simons needs to be off that team. He just doesn't fit in with this timeline. And you have the whole center situation with Clingan, Aiden, and Robert Williams, and clearly you want to build around Donovan Clingan. I mean, he's a great defender. You just can't move too well. But yeah, they'll be lucky to make it. Sacramento Kings will be lucky to make it too. It's just tough to say if they will make the playoffs, because they will play the Mavericks/Suns, and then they would have to win another game against the Clippers or Timberwolves. And I think James Harden in a playing game, he can pop off and cook the Kings. They don't really have anyone to guard him. I mean, Keon Ellis can guard him, but then you also have a Norman Powell to be guarded, and I don't think the Kings' perimeter defense is good enough. San Antonio Spurs have no shot now. I mean, Wemby and Fox are both out, enough said. Raptors have no shot. What are they sitting at? They're at 11th. Yeah, I mean, they've been doing a great job of tanking by keeping games competitive, but not winning them. And then we have Jazz. And then can we fit the Wizards in here? Yeah. Okay, so this is the final rings. Let's make sure there's eight teams in each conference. So Eastern Conference, we have Celtics, Cavs, Bucks, Knicks, Pacers, Hawks, Pistons, Magic. So that's 8. Then Western Conference, we have Lakers, Nuggets, Thunder, Warriors, Grizzlies, Timberwolves, Rockets, and Clippers. So perfect. We have 8 in each conference. I'm very happy with this list. I can leave this list as is. The only thing I would potentially change is moving the Pacers down to will make the playoffs. But besides that, I think all these teams are contenders. I could move the Bucks down to into Eastern Conference Finals. But I think when you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's quietly having one of the best seasons ever, also, you can always count on potentially making the NBA Finals. But I'm pretty solid with this tier list. I like it.